Could you please tell us more about TBIF? Do you feel a competition between these incubators as well, or how does it work?
I would say it this way, when you're going for a war, you need to have all weapons with you. And I feel IIT Ropar is in a war to become the most successful, youngest IIT.
But today we are sitting to talk about a different event. Guys, I'm mentioning is Switch. So, sir, आप कुछ बताएंगे कि Switch event है क्या?
Every year, almost close to 30,000 plus delegates visit this event in 3 days time.
So from government body hosting this event, hosting the Indian Pavilion, now an incubator has taken the responsibility, is it?
Right. So this deliberation has been going on for almost. So when I met one gentleman, senior scientist from DST in Delhi, so he tells me, Satyam ji, by January, we had made up our mind that we will be participating in Switch. By the time I reached back here in April, they made up my mind that Satyam ji.
नमस्कार साथियों, आज हमारे पॉडकास्ट में हमारे साथ हैं सत्यम जी, who is the CEO of Technology Business Incubation Foundation, that is TBIF IIT Ropar. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
एंड सत्यम जी के पास एक्सपीरियंस है इंक्यूबेशन का. इन्होंने आईआईटी रोपड़ में काम किया है, आईआईटी गुवाहाटी में काम किया है, और उसके अलावा इन्होंने ऑटोमोटिव इंडस्ट्री में काम किया है. आई थिंक मारुति से इनको रिकग्निशन मिला है एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाने का भी. सो सर, आप प्लीज थोड़ा अपने बारे में बताइए.
वेल, माय लाइफ स्टार्टेड in Assam. I belong to Northeast. On early part of my education being there, and then later for higher education I moved to the beautiful city of Nagpur, where I graduated as a mechanical engineer. Thereafter spent around close to 2 years in the steel industry doing technology transfer from Europe to India, commissioned 2 steel plants, and then moved back to India. और journey शुरू हो गई auto industry में. So I spent a few years with Honda, then I was with Mahindra and Mahindra. And towards the end of my career in the corporate, I ended up as the regional head for General Motors in Guwahati, for Northeast. And thought of taking some rest, but then the entrepreneurial mindset came into birth, and I started my own venture on digital inventory management. Run it for 3 years successfully with support from Maruti Suzuki India Limited. And after 3 years, got motivated to get into the mainframe of policy making, driving change and institutional framework, and joined IIT Guwahati Research Park Foundation as the Chief Operating Officer.
Right.
After spending 2 years, call came from this part of the country, got an opportunity to come and join IIT Ropar, and here I am today, heading the entity called TBIF as their CEO.
परफेक्ट. एंड व्हेन यू से कि आपने टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर में काम किया है, आपने आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग में डिफरेंट कंट्रीज के साथ काम किया है. सो वर्किंग एज अ कॉर्पोरेट and then moving to being an entrepreneur, and then moving to the incubation part. So how have your journey been?
It has been a two-way story. First, there's been tremendous amount of learning in my first 13 years of work experience with the steel sector out of India, then with the auto sector within the country, moving from one geographic locations to other Haryana, Rajasthan, and then parts of West Bengal, and then my hometown and my birthplace, Northeast. The experience have been tremendous. The policies of different companies have been different. The products have been different. My roles have been different. I've been into training. I've been into competency development. I've been into business development and skilling, then network development. So the areas of intervention has been different, and it has put a lot of attributes to myself. Yes, moving from being an employee to an entrepreneur, that was a drastic change. We were given VSP in the year voluntary separation in the year 2017, and by 2019 it was all end as an employee. And then I decided to write my own destiny.
Right.
And since then it was never looking back. 3 years as an entrepreneur, yes, it gave me the real-time ground reality understanding of what are the challenges, what are the hiccups, what the youth are facing today. And that was also one of the reasons that motivated me to get into the system and bring light into lives of others.
Okay.
And with that motivation in mind, I'm pulling on so on. We definitely, all of us make money for ourselves.
Right.
Nothing would be worthwhile if you could contribute your work and life and efforts into making others successful.
Others and the nation.
And the nation, definitely.
Right.
And my vision is to you work for the youth of my country, my region and my state.
But that's very nice. क्योंकि एक incubator के मन में अगर ये सारे thoughts हैं, when you're thinking about the country, you're thinking about the entrepreneurs, and then you have that DNA of the entrepreneur as well. So that brings a new flavor to the complete ecosystem. So thanks for that. And coming from Northeast, and then it's a heaven. I have visited Seven Sisters. It's heavenly. So it's a personal question for you. Which place in this region of India you love the most?
See, I have traveled a lot in my early part of my career during my days with Honda in Manesar. When I was posted in the plant, I moved to parts of Rajasthan, parts of Haryana and Delhi very extensively.
Okay.
And every place, if I speak of North India, has its own uniqueness, although there are lots in common. But the place, if I say, would be close to my heart, would be the foothills on the northern part. Haridwar is a place that is very close to my heart. I would like to go again and again. Firstly, because I have a friend there, very close friend, and secondly, it's a very sacred place. So, if I say my top pick would be to Haridwar.
Haridwar. So, coming from Northeast, working in Punjab, and loving a place in Uttarakhand. that also summarizes your journey as well, coming from one system and then working in another system, right? And I am from Saharanpur, so Haridwar is like our padosi, so I can totally relate. So have you been to Rishikesh as well, or Haridwar?
No, I haven't had an opportunity, but then definitely look forward to be there once.
Perfect. So this was about your journey. अब थोड़ा सा TBIF के बारे में आप हमें बताइए. So IIT Ropar already comprises of a lot of innovations.
Right.
When we talk about IIT Ropar, apart from the institute, if we just talk about the incubation part and the innovation part, so we have IIHub जिसमें हमने अभी डॉक्टर राधिका का, डॉक्टर मुकेश का पॉडकास्ट भी किया था. एंड IIHub इज फोकसिंग ऑन एग्रीटेक, राइट? देन यू हैव annam.ai, जिसमें अभी आई थिंक 330+ करोड़ का ग्रांट भी मिला है AI एग्रीटेक में AI डेवलप करने के लिए. देन यू हैव TBIF. So could you please tell us more about TBIF and how do you feel a competition between these incubators as well, or how does it work?
See, I would say it this way: when you're going for a war, you need to have all weapons with you, right? And I feel IIT Ropar is in a war to become the most successful youngest IIT.
So there is a race, you are saying?
Yes, and the race is not intra within us; it is inter. That is with the rest of all the institutes and the ecosystem. On a lighter note, but yes, there is always a sense of competition when there are multiple entities within the same roof. But I believe in our case, the competition is very, very positive.
Okay.
Wherever there is a requirement of reaching out to either of any of us, all fall in place. All are under one general, that is our director, Professor Rajiv Ahuja, and all fall in line for the same cause. So when it comes to the cause of the institute, cause of the region, and cause of the state, we are all in one team. And if I come to TBIF, it started somewhere around 2016. It's pretty old. It is in fact the first entity of IIT Ropar related to incubation. Rest of the things fell in later. And with a lot of hiccups and ups and downs, it sustained itself. Now it is on a stable platform, and it is eyeing for a big takeoff. One that we'll be discussing today, of course. Second, we are obviously Awadh is on water and agri and specific domains. We have taken up a different stance for ourselves. We are into core engineering and innovation.
Okay.
Deep tech.
You being a mechanical engineer. Right?
Yes. I always push for core branches. In fact, when I went for mechanical engineering in 2006, my father said me one day, we are doing our counseling in Mumbai, DY Patel College, and he was said, take any co-branch, anyhow you will survive. And I see that happening today. And
Okay.
I am privileged that I am a mechanical engineer. But yes, we are focused on deep tech, startups related to core engineering, who are not only solving problems, but they are creating a value proposition for themselves as well as their customers.
Okay.
We have startups with us whom we don't treat as startups, but we treat them as our in-house consultants. We treat them as our in-house entities who would be able to shoulder with us big ticket size projects when they come to us.
Okay.
And we are preparing a platform wherein our startups became our enablers for providing sustainable solutions, high-tech solutions to the problem statements of the country. So we are with a bigger vision. We are going slow, but we are going big.
Perfect. That's great. So core की जब हम बात करते हैं कि core technologies की आपने बात की, एक वर्ड आपने यूज किया डीप टेक. एग्रीकल्चर में डीप टेक की बात हो रही है, वाटर टेक्नोलॉजी में, मतलब मैं अवध की बात करूं तो हर चीज में डीप टेक की बात हो रही है. एग्रीकल्चर से आप बाहर आ जाइए, आप न्यूज एंकर्स की बात करें, डीडी ने एक इनिशिएटिव यूज किया था जिसमें एआई से एंकर्स दे आर यूजिंग, उसमें डीप टेक वर्ड का यूज हो रहा है. सो हाउ डू यू डिफाइन डीप टेक?
From my understanding, basic understanding of deep tech, I would re-nomenclature it as core engineering.
Okay.
That always existed. We have just changed the abbreviations and the namakaran uska humne change kiya, but it is basically core engineering. Definitely the applications have changed. The phases of change, we are into a phase where we are in industry 4.0, where engineering is getting connected to IT. Previously, in past generations, past decades, both were detached. Now it is integrated. So the front end and the back end are getting integrated as one platform, both from the customer interface point of view as well as the service provider or the manufacturer point of view. So that is what the change has come in, and that is how I see things as deep tech. Where the fusion of two interface of technology, the IT phase and the core phase. Okay. But end of the day, it is the core engineering that is been replicated to the customer in a user friendly mode. And this fusion, I believe, is the deep tech part that people are referring to, and it's a good thing. Whatever happening is good, but I think sometimes the buzz is more than it should be created.
Got it. So you have been I would say एक traveler. You have been the traveler of this train when it started from core engineering to deep tech and how the world is changing. That you have been through that journey. So what do you think really changed? Apart from the abbreviations, apart from the jargons for the industry, what exactly changed?
See, I come from a core engineering background. When I started my career in the auto industry, to be precise, way back 2007-8, when I was posted in Manasar plant of Honda. It was mostly humans that were working on the production line.
Okay.
Right. So the scooters used to come, the scooties used to come in a rope, one after the other, and you had a flip of a second to fit the bracket and to fit the nut and then move the vehicle in front. Manufacturing plant, if I say. And if it's a mistake, and then it again comes back to you. And there is another assembly line behind you, which is static, and you have multiple scooties lined up of different colors, variants, which has fault. Fault in the sense that fault that the first line has created. That time there was no impact of robotics.
Right.
Today, if I go to a plant, there will be there's assembly line were monitored by one manager.
Right.
Today, if you go, most of those humans are now converted into robots. Robotic arms are actually manufacturing.
Right.
As a result, what is happening? Capacity of the plant is getting increased.
True.
Instead of the number of the number of people that were assembling the vehicles have now been converted as supervisors. According to the assembly lines have increased. So robots are doing the basic minimal work. The supervision work is going to the humans.
Right.
So that's an impact of Industry 4.0. This is how I would like to implicate how tech has impacted the core engineering and the core sector. and this would be further revolutionized with the advent of a concept like dark factories, where you will have no maybe humans, no light at all.
China has
already developed, and they are into this. So that is be industry 5.0 that is coming next.
We are sitting to talk about a different event that's happening, right? And when we talk about this event, the event guys I'm mentioning is Switch. So Switch एक इवेंट हो रहा है सिंगापुर में, जिसके बारे में अभी हम और बातें करेंगे. सत्यम सर हमें और बताएंगे कि वहाँ पे क्या क्या होने वाला है, और आज TBIF या इंडिया किस तरह हमारे डीप टेक स्टार्टअप्स को रिप्रेजेंट करने वाला है सिंगापुर जाके. बट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्विच, राइट? इंडिया विल बी पार्टिसिपेटिंग फॉर 3 days, I suppose, for the exhibition part, right? So sir, आप कुछ बताएंगे कि स्विच इवेंट है क्या, एंड इस इनिशिएटिव के बारे में, और कैसे भारत इससे जुड़ा, और कैसे स्विच के इंडिया में कैसे एंटर हुआ है?
मेरी जितनी मेमोरी जाती है, as long as my memory goes back, I've attended this event for 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
2 बार शायद, और मैं सिंगापुर को 3-4 बार गया हूँ. And I see a very practical relevance of this event happening in Singapore. First of all, the numbers. Every year, almost close to 30,000 plus delegates visit this event in 3 days' time. Okay, it's a 3-day event, and almost close to 5,000 and 5,000 plus startups apply for the for different events. One is for showcasing, one is for for the slingshot event that happens. Pitching events, right? And this is a very fertile activity, more because it is strategically happens in Singapore, where I see both the east and the west meets.
Okay,
right?
Geographically बहुत suitable.
And number 2, it's a small place with massive infrastructure, with high-tech infrastructure, with a very good connectivity by both sea and by air. Major industries like shipping have a big landmark because they are considered to be a international transit port. Trade is one of the biggest USPs of Singapore, and nobody can ignore that entity. Though very tiny and small, it is one of the non-avoidable entities and countries in the world. They
thrived on the trade.
Yes, they thrive on the trade. From your safety pin to aeroplane, everything is imported. Just imagine a country where nothing is manufactured and everything is imported, and you are in a global landscape. Best in class, and no quality compromise. Whether it be animals in the country, whether it be humans, whether it be business, whether it be government, whether it be entrepreneurs, everything at a top-notch level. And it's a country with actual processes and systems. I have seen processes and systems being implemented in manufacturers, in companies, in organizations. But for the first time, I have seen in my life where processes and systems are implemented, put into practice by the government in governance, as well as it is practiced by the people as well. So even if the signal is red, green, and you're moving out, and people are not supposed to cross and walk, but there's an old lady that is coming in, so the vehicle stops. So there is a empathetic culture as well. Basic etiquette. Yes, it is not like that. No, it's green and I move out. No, you get out of the way. So I feel I get a very good sense of east and the west, both cultures, to a lot of extent in that place. And coming to Switch event that happens, it's a 3-day event, wherein investors, institutions, governments from across the globe converge at a point. It happens in Marina Bay Sands, and more or less every year almost 5,000 startups are showcasing their talent, pitching their ideas, winning great prizes, making good deals, making good global connectivity. And the Switch becomes very pivotal because it opens anybody's leadway into Southeast Asia, because rest all of the countries, whether it be Laos, whether it be Malaysia, then up to Thailand, you are connected through road, and the culture there is very overlapping. You get to meet people from across Southeast Asia in that place, so that helps a lot. And the support mechanism and the business response time there is very fast.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of good things to learn for to be that part of the event, even if you don't get something tangible in hand. As far as India is concerned, as per my memory goes back, last year this event was hosted by DPIIT and Startup India.
So from government body hosting this event, hosting the Indian Pavilion, now an incubator has taken the responsibility, is it?
Right. So this deliberation has been going on for almost 6-8 months now.
Okay.
Since last year. When
तभी से आपने ठान लिया था कि मुझे
I tried for last year, but it did not happen when I was in IIT Guwahati due to some reasons. And when I landed here last October, one of the agendas that I moved was with this thing.
Okay.
So when I met one gentleman, senior scientist from DST in Delhi, so he tells me, Satyam ji, बोलिए क्या करना है आगे? What is your vision? मैं बोला सर मेरा विजन बहुत छोटा है, आपका विजन बताओ. He said ग्लोबल करना है कुछ. मैं बोला कहाँ चलना है बताइए. बोलता आप बताओ. मैंने बोला सिंगापुर चलो. And it was a very candid discussion.
Okay.
And within 15-20 minutes, I called up some of my friends who are with the government of Singapore, and they responded, and it took off. And by January, we had made up our mind that we'll be participating in Switch.
चाय पे चर्चा से
चाय पे चर्चा. And then by the time I reached back here in April, they made up my mind that Satyam ji, we'll be hosting the India Pavilion, and IIT Ropar TBIF would be the implementing partner.
Yeah.
And I said, wow. And today, as I talk to you, we are live, we are on it, and we are all set for October 2025, Switch 25 Singapore.
So Switch मतलब एक छोटा सा डिस्कशन. सो गाइज ये सबके लिए है. मतलब वी फाइंड दैट वेरी नॉर्मल दीज डेज कि एक दो एंटरप्रेन्योर के बीच में, कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स के बीच में एक छोटा सा डिस्कशन एक स्टार्टअप आइडिया बन जाता है. एक घर में बैठी हुई एक प्रॉब्लम कितना बड़ा सोल्यूशन बन जाती है. एंड कमिंग बैक टू इनक्यूबेटर पार्ट कि यार कुछ बड़ा करना है, कहाँ करें? सिंगापुर करते हैं. सो दे आर गोइंग टू स्विच. दैट्स लाइक सिंगापुर वीक ऑफ इनोवेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, आई थिंक. राइट. सो दे आर गोइंग टू स्विच क्योंकि इन्होंने डिस्कशन रखा कि यार चलो कुछ करते हैं. So guys, everybody can do anything. You just have to, keep it in mind and work hard for it. So congratulations for the switch.
Thank you.
And so जो हम इंडिया को अब की बार रिप्रेजेंट करने वाले हैं, जो IIT रोपड़, और मैं जब हम कहता हूँ मैं सारे भारतीयों की बात करता हूँ.
Correct.
जैसे हम खुद को रिप्रेजेंट करने वाले हैं, तो क्या प्लान है IIT रोपड़ के, एंड क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा रजिस्ट्रेशंस वगैरह का?
हमने जो विजन लिया है, हमने सिंगापुर के जो ऑर्गेनाइजर्स है उनके साथ नेगोशिएट किया, एंड वी हैव टेकन स्पेस फॉर इंडिया पेविलियन, जहां हम 8 स्टार्टअप्स को शोकेस करेंगे.
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, कितनी कंट्रीज वहां पे अपने पवेलियंस लगाती हैं?
1.5 month back it was around 26.
तो 20 से ज्यादा कंट्रीज वहां पे अपने पवेलियंस लेके आएंगे.
एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम पवेलियंस there would be manufacturers, there will be corporates also that will be putting up their stalls. So it will be a very very cross dimensional ecosystem.
तो जैसे हमारा स्टार्टअप महाकुंभ होता है वैसा सही कुछ होगा?
Similar to land, but the footfalls would be global.
Okay.
You never know, you would be hitting against a German or an American or a Korean or somebody from any other part of the country, and you just have to just keep wondering whom you meet next.
Right.
And we intend to put 8 of our best startups from across the country through a month-long run hackathon. That would be locally running with support from DST, and we plan to showcase 8 innovative ideas with their products in Switch 25. Parallelly, another event that goes under the same umbrella is Slingshot. So we as global partners, India, we would be nominating one startup into the top 250 among the ones that will be applying globally, and that startup would be facilitated with mentoring, with coaching, with an overall package, so that he or she makes it to the top 3 and wins a cash prize and all other benefits that are associated with it. And that is our target, is to put in a global landscape 8+1, 9 stars from India.
नवरत्न हम अपने लेके जाएंगे.
Correct. I remember the first visit mostly. It was way back 2019-20. There was a India-Singapore Business Summit. Whether it be head of organizations, head of institutions, head of investment firms, head of governments. So, जिनको हम TV में देखते हैं, you get to see them and you get to meet them.
Right.
When I was in that event, our Honorable Minister Hardeep Puriji was present that time. Another important thing is that you get to know to what level Indians are doing today.
Right.
You get a lot of leadership position people who are Indian, from Indian origin, who come on such platforms.
Right.
Thirdly, you get to understand a lot of global problem statements that exist which you can't think of. In one of the events, I remember some internal minister of Singapore pointed out that we have a big problem statement. Can anybody pick it? And the statement was, Singapore, as you know, is surrounded with water.
Right.
And there was one area, one coastal area of Singapore, where the water level was of the ocean was constantly depleting.
Achha.
And that was a worry for them. And that was a problem statement that they were giving out to startups,
right,
to innovate, and institutions to solve. So everybody went, heavy that how do we do this? And he said, this is serious and this is happening. So you don't get to listen also to such things here. At least I have not heard. So you get exposure of a different level when you are in such platforms.
Right.
So these three has been very, remembering things.
जैसे आपने प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट की बात की, आई कैन नॉट रिमेम्बर द एग्जैक्ट नेम, बट अभी मैंने रिसेंटली किसी आईआईटी ने ये काम किया था. उनके कोस्टल रीजन में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी, मछलियों की शायद डेथ हो रही थी, और उससे रिलेटेड उन्होंने वही प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट बना के अपने उसमें रखी थी कि whoever solves it will get the funding and grant from us. So that's a very good initiative जब हम real time life impacting problems डालते हैं और hand to hand उनका solution implement करके लोगों के लिए कुछ भला करते हैं. And that's something amazing countries have been doing as well. So जो switch event की हम बात कर रहे हैं और उसमें हमने slingshot event के बारे में भी थोड़ा आपने बताया, तो जो switch के लिए hackathon चलेगा उसका क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा? आपने कहा 8 स्टार्टअप्स हम डीप टेक में लेके जाएंगे, और आपके अकॉर्डिंग डीप टेक इज आल्सो कनेक्टेड टू कोर इंडस्ट्रीज समवेयर. सो जो 8 स्टार्टअप्स का सिलेक्शन होगा वो किस सेगमेंट या डोमेन से होंगे, एंड हैव यू फाइनलाइज सम रूल्स, रेगुलेशंस और रूल बुक फॉर द सेम?
We already have rolled out the application process.
Okay.
And there are, you can visit our website and on our web page. We are also circulating it in our social media. But anyways, we have segregated some sectors that are mapped with the preference sectors of the event that is happening there.
Okay.
We don't want to run our own narrative and then ताकि वहाँ जाके match ना हो. So green energy, AI, digital, healthcare, manufacturing, these are some of the areas that are priority themes for this area.
Okay.
So we have also mapped it in same way.
Got it.
And then our hackathon will run it in 3 phases. First would be an online call where all the startups from across the country would be applying.
Mid of June से जो start हो जाएगा.
Yes, and it will extend till beginning of summer, July.
Okay.
And then all the applications that will be coming in would be filtered through an automated system.
Okay.
With respect to criteria. There are different criteria that are there in the Google form that we have launched out. And then it funnels down to a particular number.
Okay.
Depending on what is the response we get. And then there would be a jury round. Or virtual interaction round where we would be engaging with the startups, and
pitching round जिसे कह सकते हैं.
Pitching round where they would not be really pitching, but they will be showcasing their product.
अच्छा.
Right? And what is the product? And we'll
हम किस TRL की बात कर रहे हैं?
We are looking at people who are at an advanced stage.
Okay.
At least TRL 6 and above. Why? Because we are looking at the futuristic point of the proposition that the startup would get upon landing there. So if somebody is with a product who is already selling here, or is at the verge of selling, or who is already gained some market here,
right,
we would prefer to take those people there. Why? Because tomorrow a deal cracks and there is a lead or there is an opportunity to get into the market, he should be in a financial and product wise in a situation to be able to launch that product there, or supply it to somebody there and he sells in his name, or do some collaboration or JV. A very early stage startup would be, very, very difficult to give him access to a global market from there. And for investors or for clients or customers also there, it would be a very native stage product. So they would also look for advanced stage who are at least done the prototyping into sellability stage.
परोसने के लिए जो तैयार होंगे.
Exactly. We don't want to go and cook food there. We want to take ready-made cook for all this thing.
राइट. सो हमने सेगमेंट सेक्टर्स की बात की, हमने एप्लीकेशन की बात की, तो आपने कहा ऑनलाइन एक एप्लीकेशन ओपन होगी जिसमें रजिस्टर कर पाएंगे, जिसका लिंक हम अपने पॉडकास्ट में शेयर कर देंगे. बट उसके बाद जो आपकी जूरी होगी, आप थोड़ा बहुत हमें ये बता सकते हैं कि जो स्टार्टअप्स पिच तैयार करें, मतलब उनके पास प्रोडक्ट होना जरूरी है, तो हम समझ गए, बट हाउ डू दे प्रिपेयर द पिच and what the jury would look like?
See, jury would be brought up from across the country.
Okay.
We'll be keeping it very diverse so that it won't be like there is no regional biasment to it. It will be pulled up from across the country. Number two, the startup has to see that do my product or my pitch is at the level of a global, for a global audience.
So any format or something?
The format, in the sense, there will be no such format, but we'll be giving out some guidelines.
Okay.
4 to 5 slides, because we don't want them to go and pitch them in front of somebody to get investments. We want them actually to go and sell their products, and we would also help in doing that, and we'll be also their salesman there. So हम चाहेंगे कि उनका प्रोडक्ट में वो वो क्रेडेंशियल्स हो, उनके प्रोपोजिशन में वो चीज हो जो एक ग्लोबल ऑडियंस को अट्रैक्ट कर सके. सो दैट thing they have to keep in mind, and they can obviously do some market study and comparison study. Whoever 8 are shortlisted, we will give them a lot of inputs into how the market for their product and domain runs there. So that would be the thing they should look up to, that whether they are on a global platform level or not.
So जो 8 स्टार्टअप हम सेलेक्ट करेंगे, लेवल 1 हो गया, हमने फॉर्म फिल कर दिया. लेवल 2 हो गया कि पिचिंग ऑनलाइन, एक जूरी सिलेक्शन हो गया, एंड लेवल 3 आई थिंक विल बी द अनाउंसमेंट ऑफ द नॉमिनेशन, राइट? सो जो 8 स्टार्टअप सेलेक्ट होंगे डीप टेक से ही होंगे, तो उनका क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा, उनका क्या अगर वो सिंगापुर जाने को मिलता है, सो हु विल बी टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द एक्सपेंसेस एंड व्हाट ऑल बेनिफिट्स दे कैन एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम दिस इवेंट?
As of now, this will be a very, very strictly controlled process of evaluation, and the best of the best would be funneled out to be taken for the showcasing, and that is why we are giving a serious deliberation on, so that we can support the ones that are maybe not in that situation to cover all the expenses of traveling there. We will try to cover most of it, what is possible. It depends on case to case basis, but we are open to supporting and bearing the expenses for them.
And what all they can expect from this event?
At least event wise, if not nothing, few good number of visiting cards. Number 2, we are trying to set up some B2G, B2B meetings apart from the event. Local ecosystem travel, meetups with investors and funding agencies there, as well as incubators. That would happen. We are in talks for that. That would happen beyond the event, so that our stakeholders, that is institutions who are institution partners who would go with us, or government representatives and the startups, most importantly, we could have a physical tour of not sightseeing, but actually stakeholder meetings.
Industry visit ho jayegi.
Industry visits ho jayegi. For example, shipping is a big industry,
right?
And so maybe some core tech startup is there who might have some intervention in shipping. So we'll try that if we can get somebody who is into this industry can meet us and then understand our, at least out of these 8. If somebody gets picked up for some activity or engagement, I think it's worth the effort put by everybody.
नहीं, it makes sense, क्योंकि एक global exposure के साथ साथ कोलैबोरेशन की अपॉर्चुनिटीज जो इवेंट लेके आ रहा है, आई थिंक दैट्स रियली कमेंडेबल. एंड जो स्विच इवेंट हो गया, हमारे एग्जीबिशन वाला पार्ट हो गया, आई थिंक 3-4 दिन के लिए जाना होगा. कुड यू प्लीज टेल अस समथिंग अबाउट स्लिंगशॉट एज वेल, जो पिचिंग इवेंट होगा?
Slingshot is in the similar lines.
Okay.
It's a pitching event wherein there are 3 prizes, first, second, third.
I think 12 crore के आसपास का इसका पूरा pool.
Yes, पूरा pool है.
Right.
And that is the money that you can pull out of this event. It is like any other pitching session,
right,
but highly competitive, top-notch, and offer different event altogether. So close to 5,000-6,000 startups apply every year into this, whether it be virtual that happened during COVID or offline, and it's a tough competition. And into that, we would be nominating one special case from India into the top 250.
Okay.
And he gets an opportunity to be in that class of 250.
Right.
Having mentoring sessions, pitching sessions, hand holding, all the nurturing that is required to make it beyond. So that is one big leap that we'll be providing to that one particular lucky startup boy or girl. Yes.
So जो 1-on-1 सेशन की आपने बात की, so 1-on-1 mentoring तो हमारे IIT से भी मिलेगी उनको, मतलब इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से मिलेगी और उनकी तरफ से भी मिलेगी सिंगापुर.
One mentoring that is there in their curriculum for the 250 that they would be doing.
Okay.
I am at this point not very clear of the details. It's not disclosed as well. But from our end also, we'll also try to pull in a team or pool of mentors on both on presentation part, both on business idea formulation part. We're also we're talking to some global mentors as well.
भारत को represent करने की बात हो रही है.
Yes, who could help and shape up them on a global perspective, because who have exposure to global markets. So we are also exploring overseas mentors to be engaged with that startup.
So is it safe to call it startups का Commonwealth or Olympics?
Yes, to some extent बोल सकते हैं.
Asia Games तक.
Yes, it's a vibrant this thing, and I would instead visualize it this way, that the way today we are getting so excited to be in Switch 25 in Singapore, there should be a day where people from Singapore would come into Startup Mahakumbh in India and feel the same thrill and excitement that we are going to India to be in Startup Mahakumbh.
Right.
We should be able to put the ecosystem platform to that level.
True.
Wherein somebody would be doing a podcast in Singapore and speaking about Startup Mahakumbh.
Yeah, let's hope for the same. Yeah, I'm very hopeful for that. So thank you for all the details.
Thank you.
And guys, registrations are open. Anything you want to know about Switch, Slingshot or TBIF, you can visit the website. The link is below. And we'll wrap up this podcast with 10 rapid fire questions. So I'll request you to answer it in one word. And let's start with the first question.
Chalo.
So first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word deep tech. One word answer.
Jargon.
Jargon, okay. What's your biggest inspiration? It could be a name.
Ratan Tata.
Ratan Tata ji, theek hai. One thing that you feel is missing in Indian innovation sector?
Financial literacy.
Okay, perfect. Your favorite failure?
Difficult.
It would be one-liner as well.
Very difficult to say.
We have you here, right?
Yeah. If I say a personal failure, not able to convince my employer beyond getting to excellence awards to continue my
typical employee wala failure hota hai, that's what you're putting here.
Right. And I had to take my VSP.
Got it. If you could ban one word from the startup lingo?
Grants.
Sir, it's a survival for a lot of startups, but yeah. So one word for Switch 2025?
India go global.
India go global. Perfect. Startup ecosystem or corporate life?
Startup ecosystem.
Startup ecosystem. Okay. Most overused word in Fidgetex. I think we know the answer to that.
Difficult question for me.
But I think deep tech.
Can be.
It's the most used word in most of the pitch decks, right? One word that defines you?
Nation first.
Nation. Perfect. Most underrated skill in innovation?
Coding.
Coding. It's the most paying skill as well.
Yes.
But perfect. Thanks a lot for your time, sir. Thanks a lot for being with us, and we'll give you more updates about Switch. Please follow the TBIF LinkedIn page for the upcoming updates, right? And so the last question I have, how can people reach out to you or the team for the event and registrations?
I am very active and proactive on responding to startups. Just ping me on LinkedIn. You will get a reply directly from me. Perfect. And maybe even I could reach out to as well. And that is the only and the fastest way. Just ping me. I'll respond.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for your time, sir. Thank you for your honesty and for your determination to bring this nation to a global level. I think we have reached there, but again, it's a long way to go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.